Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here for this exciting announcement. Thank you, Premier Ford, Minister McNaughton, MPPs Mike Harris and Jess Dixon, and welcome to the Village of Ayr as part of my riding that I am most proud to represent. I also want to recognize Sue Foxton, Mayor of North Dumfries. The investments our government is making in skilled trades, both locally and across the province, are something never seen before in this province. We are training men and women for careers in good-paying, long-life jobs. At the same time, we're assisting employers in the province to fill vacancies, often where there are endless opportunities for advancement. I am proud to be part of this government that is committed to supporting workers and building a stronger Ontario. I will now call on Shelley Walker, Chief Executive Officer of the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada, to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for coming today. A special thank you to GFL for having us at the state-of-the-art facility. I'd like to thank our trucking industry partners, Trucking Human Resources Sector Council, Atlantic, GFL, Contrans, Lafarge, Innicol, Heidelberg Cement, Miller Paving, DriveWise, Crossroads Truck Training Academy, Transport Driver Training, Ontario Truck Driving School, Tri-City Concrete, and of course, Flush Freight, for the ongoing support for the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada. Thank you to the Government of Ontario for supporting us and investing in programs to help more people achieve fulfilling careers as professional truck drivers. I'd like to introduce Mayor Sue Foxton.
Good morning, and thank you for being here, and thank you, ladies. What an amazing job you've done to do this. Today, you're going to make a difference in a lot of people's lives. Reading some of your information, it's not just women, but all. But for us to step forward, for women to step forward is another great mark that our children and grandchildren will note, that we are a can-do society, we will get it done, and we will move forward. And thank you so much to the province. Where would we be without the partnership? It's always a true saying, stronger together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Mayor. It's an honor to be here with all of you today, and thanks for welcoming us here to North Dumfries. It's great to be here with everyone, our MPP colleagues from the region, alongside Premier Ford. They are such strong voices for Kitchener, Cambridge, and the entire region. I also want to thank Shelley Walker, CEO of the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada, for her leadership in bringing forward this amazing application. From truckers to electricians, over the next 10 years, we're going to need more skilled workers to deliver our goods on time and build the hospitals, schools, and homes that families rely on every day. You can already see the labor crunch. Businesses struggling to find the talent they need to build our province and grow the economy for everyone. Each of these unfilled jobs represents a paycheck not collected, a missed opportunity for someone to build a better life. Nowhere is this more true than among the most vulnerable members of our society. From single moms who find themselves shut out of male-dominated professions and at-risk youth who don't know where to start, to determined newcomers trying to build a better life in their adoptive country. That's why our government, under the leadership of Premier Ford, is investing in innovative training programs to give job seekers a hand up to good jobs. Through our $700 million Skills Development Fund, we have now launched nearly 600 projects in communities in every corner of Ontario, helping 500,000 people take the next step in their careers. This wouldn't be possible without partners like the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada. Their members are everyday heroes who keep the economy moving and store shelves stocked. That's why our government, in our first Working for Workers bill, guaranteed truckers access to washrooms at the businesses they deliver to. Working together, business, labor leaders, workers, and government will continue to help workers train for in-demand jobs so they can get bigger paychecks for themselves and their families. Now, I'm really excited to turn it over to Premier Ford to make an important announcement and a special announcement for the trucking industry today. Premier, over to you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Minister McNaughton, for that introduction. And I'm thrilled to be back here in the beautiful North Dumfries, alongside Minister McNaughton, MPPs Jess Dixon, Mike Harris, and Brian Riddell. I also want to welcome Mayor Sue Foxton. Mayor, it's great to see you again. You're doing an incredible job, and thank you for the great partnership. Always smiling, the Mayor. I want to give a big thank you to Dave Richmond, Heather Roper, and everyone from GFL Environmental for hosting us today. And before I get started, I want to acknowledge Shelley Walker and your team from the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada. Shelley, thank you for all your work, and I remember talking to you a few times throughout the pandemic and all the hard work that you did, so thank you for your leadership. You know, folks, our truckers are just so important to every sector, every industry in our province, whether it's getting materials to construction sites or goods to stores. Truck drivers play a critical role in keeping our economy moving and building Ontario. That said, women make up only 2% of the truck drivers in our province. That's just not good enough. So I want to thank the Federation for helping to break down barriers and encourage more women to enter the transportation industry. Because, as we all know, Ontario is facing a historic labor shortage, with hundreds of thousands of jobs going unfilled every day. This includes 6,100 job vacancies in the trucking industry. And over the next decade, we're going to need thousands of new truck drivers, thousands of skilled workers to help build the factories, homes, and infrastructure our growing province needs. Across Ontario, for example, we've embarked on the most ambitious capital plan in our province's history, matter of fact, in Canadian history, with $184 billion going into infrastructure. We're building schools, including an investment of $45 million for 3 new elementary schools in the Waterloo region. We're investing $50 billion with a B to support more than 50 new hospital projects, including the redevelopment of Grand River Hospital and St. Mary's General Hospital. We're investing $28 billion for roads and highways, like the new Highway 7 between Kitchener and Guelph, and we're supporting the largest transit expansion in North America, including expanded GO train service on the Kitchener line. But at a time when it's never been more important to deliver infrastructure for our growing province, we need to do everything possible to deliver on our commitment to build Ontario. As our population grows, as we attract billions of dollars in new investments, like Moderna's multi-million-dollar investment to manufacture vaccines in Cambridge, we need to be able to build. We need to get it done, but we can't build if we don't have the workers. That's why our government is investing over $700 million in our Skills Development Fund, working hand in hand with labor unions and businesses to train the skilled workforce our growing economy needs. Whether it's upskilling workers, training new ones, or getting skilled immigrants into the province, we're leaving no stone unturned, and it's all hands on deck. And so today, we're pleased to announce that as part of our Skills Development Fund, we're investing $1.3 million to prepare women, newcomers, including those who have fled Ukraine, and others from underrepresented groups for in-demand careers in the trucking industry. Led by the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada, this project will provide 54 participants with up to 200 hours of training needed to obtain tractor-trailer and straight truck licenses. And because we need to break down barriers to help get more women into the trucking industry, the program will reimburse participants up to $4,500 for childcare and other living expenses. That's what makes it work. This investment will help change so many lives, connecting people to good-paying jobs and rewarding careers. It will help create a bigger pipeline of talent, so together we can keep our economy moving and build the factories, the plants, the homes, and infrastructure that we need in every region of the province. Friends, as we continue to navigate global uncertainty, our government is hard at work, building an economy that can weather any storm. An economy that never loses sight of what's most important, helping people succeed, helping workers succeed. That starts with creating an economic condition that attracts investments and growth and good jobs. We have the right plan to build Ontario. We're making electricity more affordable. We're keeping taxes low and along with fees. We're cutting red tape. We're investing in transit, roads, and highways to keep people and goods moving. And we're training the skilled workforce to build our province. Friends, before we wrap up today, I just want to take a moment to congratulate Olivia Chow on yesterday's election win and becoming the next mayor of Toronto. As I've always said, and I've always demonstrated, I'm willing to work with anyone who is ready to work with our government to build a stronger Ontario. And I look forward to working with Olivia to keep costs down for families, create good-paying jobs, and to build homes, transit, and other key infrastructure needed to keep up with a growing Toronto and Ontario. Thank you all for coming today, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
Okay, we'll now take questions. Just a reminder, it's one question, one follow-up.
Brandon Marr, City News 570.
Hi.
So the mayors of Kitchener, Cambridge, and Waterloo have all rejected the idea of using strong mayor powers.
Yep.
And Cambridge Mayor Jan Liggett specifically said she did not ask for them. So my question is, did your government consult with all 26 municipalities before invoking the powers? And with all 3 mayors rejecting them, do you feel it was a waste of time to invoke the powers here in the region?
Well, not at all. We're doing it right across the province. We need to get homes built a lot quicker. And let's be very frank, a councillor, which I have a great deal of respect for because I was a councillor at one time, that might win with 2,000, 3,000 votes compared to a mayor that wins with tens or hundreds of thousands of votes in some cases. Well, that's going to be their choice. They don't have to do it, so it's optional. So I wish them all the best, but I'll tell you one thing. The 29 large city mayors, when I had them to the house for a barbecue, I'll tell you they're extremely excited.
But did you consult with those local governments before invoking those powers?
You know something? We consult with mayors right across this region out of 444 municipalities, and the consensus was vast majority want the strong mayor powers. But again, it's optional, right? If you don't want it, you don't have to use it. If you want it, you can use it.
Hi, Premier.
Hi.
Al Sweeney with CHCH Hamilton.
Yes.
So the Hamilton City Council is sponsoring another public meeting tonight to figure out how to deal with the problem of tent encampments. So this isn't a matter of building single-family homes or condos. It's dealing with people who are living on the streets and don't have anywhere else to go. No. Do you have any suggestions on what the city should be doing, and can the province help in any way?
Well, great question. First of all, we've given Hamilton over $27 million for shelters, and you have to look at the communities around there. You know, the families and the kids that go to these parks, you can't have encampments there. You just can't. They have to move on, and you don't see them obviously in the winter, so they're living somewhere, but we're putting $27 million towards that. But we can't have these people going in and taking over communities, taking over parks. All you have to do is go into that community, start door knocking around there, and ask them if they want these folks living in their parks where their kids go and play. The answer is overwhelmingly, no, they don't.
Where could these folks go, do you think?
Well, again, we've given $27 million to the city for shelters, and we're going to work with them hand in hand, but they're going to have to find the same location where these people live in the winter when they aren't in the parks as they do in the summer.
Thanks for you.
Thank you.
Hello, Irene Schmidt-Aidney from the Air News. I'm bringing it back to the trucking training, and do you know how many women will be from Waterloo region?
I'll pass that over to Shelley. or the minister, one of you. Yeah, go ahead, Shelley.
We've already had several women in the KW region apply for funding. We're hosting an information session today, so can't give you exact numbers until we get a little bit more underway.
But we have some, that's great. And just a very gentle correction, this is North Dumfries.
Did I mess that one up? No, you're right. Yeah. North Dumfries. Okay.
Robert Williams with the Record.
Hey, Robert.
Virtually every provincial government over the last number of decades has promised Highway 7. You've mentioned it here today. Could you give us an update in terms of where we are, and will you confirm today that Highway 7 will be a legacy of the Ford government?
Well, it'll be a legacy for sure, and the person that really pushed forward is all three MPPs, but Mike Harris led the charge. He's been leading the charge on the hospitals, he's leading the charge on Highway 7. But I really appreciate your point about no other government has done this. No other government has ever built the 413 and the Bradford bypass. No other government has had a $50 billion infrastructure project to build 50 new hospitals. No other government has built more schools than what we're building. So, and no other government has put $184 billion into infrastructure, creating roads and bridges and highways. But I know they're working on the bridge right now. And Mike, do you want me to pass it over to you? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I can provide a little bit more of an update. Obviously, we've got a little bit of COVID slowdowns are still sort of hanging around, still dealing with some supply chain issues, but there's some new tendering that's going to be coming out soon. We don't want to give too much information about that just so we don't affect the markets and the bids. There's a great, obviously, a strong relationship that we're working on with some First Nation consultation, obviously, that's happening as well, and work will continue. I think the Premier's been very clear, Minister Mulrooney's been very clear, we are going to get this done. And as we look at moving goods, this announcement today is a perfect example of that. Hopefully we'll be able to see some of the people that have been trained from this project be able to bring goods back and forth on that highway. Thank you.
Is there any general timeline?
Well, I'll tell you, we're working on it right now as we move down the road a little bit, excuse the pun, but we'll give you a better time frame. But I'll tell you, folks, we're going to get it done. Just like we're getting the largest infrastructure project, transit lines built across this province, we're going to do the same for roads and highways and bridges. We're a government. It's not just a slogan. We get it done, and then the record proves it.
Good morning, Premier. Colin DeMello with Global News. How are you?
Colin, you must not have slept last night waiting to come up here this morning. You could have driven with me. You were up so early.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead.
Good luck with you.
Let's get it going.
All right. So you say you can work with Olivia Chow, but you've also called her a, quote, unmitigated disaster. You said it would be Gravy Train 2.0. So
I did.
Can you tell us specifically what you plan to work with her on?
Well, you know something, Olivia and I have had a good relationship. Sure, the ideology is totally different, but I think I've proved it. No matter if it's Mayor Horvath in Hamilton, which we have a phenomenal relationship, by the way, or Mayor Del Duca, another great phenomenal relationship. I have them over quite often to the House, and I'll work with anyone as long as they're willing to work with our province. I think I've shown that with all 444 municipalities. Our job as a province is to make sure we're there to support them to the best of our ability, and that's exactly what we're going to do with the new mayor, and we look forward to sitting down. I had a great talk with her last night, and you know, she's been in politics long enough, and during the election you throw some mud back and forth, but I'll tell you one thing, people expect us to work together, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll work together, and we're going to find common ground when we sit down, because she's actually quite a nice person.
So last week you had a pretty high-profile endorsement of Mark Saunders. You recorded some robocalls on Friday. He won, though, with just 8%, or he didn't win, sorry. He got 8% of the vote.
Sure.
Is that a rejection of you?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me this one. No, not at all. Listen, Mark's a friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. That's what friends do. And, you know, I didn't get involved in the election until right at the very end. I did a quick robocall, and, you know, you saw some of the votes shift back and forth. But at the end of the day, I want to congratulate Mark. I want to congratulate all 100 candidates, or 102, whatever it is, that put their name in the hat. You know, that takes a lot of guts to go out there and put your name out there and go door knocking, putting up signs. That's what democracy's all about. And again, I think the world of Mark, and I just want to wish him all the best in his endeavors. And I want to, again, find common ground with Olivia, because people expect that. There's a lot of people out there that live in Toronto. Unfortunately, I wish more people voted, but that's not the case. And we live in a democracy. The people have decided, and I'm going to respect the will of the people, and I'm going to be working with the new mayor.
This will be the last question.
Last two questions, of course.
Oh.
Hi, Premier Laura
Hi.
Stone, Globe and Mail.
Hey, Laura.
You know, Olivia Chow's proposals in her campaign are to build 25,000 rent-controlled units. She wants to reverse TTC cuts. She's talking about replacing the Gardner East with a parkway. Are these any ideas that you think you can work with her on a common ground, as you say? And are you willing to provide any of that $1 billion shortfall that the city is facing in order for her to achieve her plans?
Well, I'm always for building affordable, attainable, and purpose-built rentals and regular homes as well. We've seen a record 445,000 people show up into Ontario, and those 445,000 people, which is the fastest growing region per capita in North America, bar none, they need homes. So I'll just give you some of the funding. Over $3.3 billion this year from the province for social housing, childcare, public health, and social assistance. Money for policing. I heard Olivia say that she's wants to make sure the city's safe. Well, we went from 27 million to 42 million last year for policing, 217 million for homeless prevention programs, an increase of 48 million from previous year, $235 million to cover their shortfall 2022 COVID-related operating pressures, and by the way, unmatched by the feds. Nearly $30 billion to build a new transit system, including the Ontario line. So, you know, we're doing our fair share, but if one word of advice, I sat on the budget committee, we're down there, you got to get your fiscal house in order. You can't, you can't come to the feds and the province all the time. We'll be there to support you any which way we can, but folks, I can tell you, there's a lot of waste down there. But I look forward to working with the new mayor.
Okay, thank you. And in her victory speech last night, one of the loudest cheers from the crowd was when she talked about keeping Ontario Place public. Yep. And she's come out against your plans to build the spa there. She's come out against the plan to move the science center. And she said she won't see the land over. So how are you going to, quote unquote, work with her on that? Are you amenable at all to any changes to your proposal, or are you just going to forge ahead anyway?
Well, you know, Ontario Place is going to be a public space. The vast majority of Ontario Place is going to be open to the public all along the shore for the biking and hiking and going out there and whatever you want to do, be a picnic. But this is moving down the tracks pretty quickly right now. We look forward to sitting down with the host city. Let's all keep in mind the people of Waterloo Region and everywhere else in the province. This is a provincial site. I respect that the host city is Toronto, and we've been working hand in hand with the previous mayor, which we got along quite well. But this is a provincial site. We're going to do what's right for the province, and with respecting that is in Toronto, and that's the host city. But there's going to be a lot of public space. It's going to be a world-class destination. Let me go back, folks. Ontario Place had weeds growing up. It sat there like a city dump for, what, 15 years? No one did anything, nothing. We're making it into a beautiful destination. Ontario, the Science Center sat there, decrepit. It was being run down. It was dropping 30% on visits every single year. We're going to make this into a world-class Science Center, a brand new facility with new attractions. Who wouldn't want that? I'll tell you, the people of Ontario want it. So we're going to continue working hand in hand with the city, but that's another project. We're going to get it done. And I mark my words, the same detractors are going to show up to the amphitheater because their favorite band's going to be playing, a brand new amphitheater. Same group's going to bring their kids to the water slide. The same group's going to be wandering through there hiking at Ontario Place. So it's going to be beautiful, and I can't wait.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.